speaking of problems, how do you suppose Joel and Jan are doing?
I can't believe we were just out of gas. From here on, I'll drive.
I think I'll walk.
Well, a rose is a rose is a rose.
Joel does get a little hot under the collar, doesn't he? That reminds me of our next question. If the cooling system in your car is not working properly, how long would it take for the engine parts to actually melt? A, 20 minutes, B, 2 hours, C, 4 hours, or D, never? The answer's A, 20 minutes. So you'd better make sure your fan belt's okay.
Do you suppose that Joel knows that?
Well, let's find out.
Just call me lucky, gang. Second the tow truck left, the engine overheated. Fan belt broke. Lucky I carry an extra one, though. Tension's just about right. Yep, guess that does it. Okay, Jan, move over. Let an expert take the wheel. It's gonna run like a top now. Thank heavens, he's out of here. Oh, no.
Oh, not again!
It'll start, it'll start, it'll start. Come on.
Oh, no.
Jeff, I hope they make it back here.
Wilma, that just goes to show you, you should have your car checked periodically. Preventative maintenance can save a lot of headaches and unnecessary expense. For example, did you know that keeping your brakes adjusted is not only a safety factor, it can prevent drag so that your wheels will give you better gas mileage?
Speaking of wheels, folks, here's another tip. I don't want to seem overbearing, but you should have your wheel bearings cleaned, inspected, and repacked or replaced every 12 months or 12,000 miles. Right, Wilma?
You know that's right, Otto, and that brings us on to our very next question. How many miles does the average motorist drive per year? Do you know? Which one of these is the right answer? A, 5,000 miles, B, 10,000 miles, C, 15,000 miles, or in this case, is it D, 20,000 miles? The answer here is B, 10,000 miles.
Wilma, at the rate Joel's driving, he'll be lucky if he covers 100 miles in a year.
Well, there are all kinds of drivers, and then there's Joel.
You drivers should have been at least familiar with our 5 questions on car care, so how did you do with your answers? If you answered all 5 correctly, you really know your car maintenance. But the real test is how you follow through. Let's go out to Jim Budd to talk to some typical Cleveland motorists.
When you go to a self-serve gas station, do you check under the hood?
Not usually.
No?
No, usually, if I check under the hood, it's once a month, and I take it to a full serve, you know?
I just get gas and leave.
No, I don't. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
No, I don't. I just fill the gas and just, pay him and get out of there.
See, Otto, your car needs frequent checks for wear and tear, too. If you get more information about how to take care of your car and use it, your car will be safer and more economical to drive. You shouldn't just gas and go.
Wilma, sometimes I have to gas and go.
Cool it, Otto. Folks, that concludes this section of the Greater Cleveland Auto Test. We'll be looking into our next section, drivers and driving techniques, right after this message.
Coming to your favorite doorstep, the new Sunday Press. The paper that's into the things you're into brings you news from around the world and around your neighborhood. Sports news, fashion news, things to help you laugh and learn and love. The new Sunday Press, yours with the Daily Press. 7 days for $1. See your press carrier and lead a more colorful life.
Society's super banking card will now pay some bills. 1, 2, 3. Add to savings, simple as can be. Put cash in hand, show the balance, and you're super banking the fastest way, night or day. Now you see, the card is the key to easy banking at society.
We're ready for the drivers and driving section of the Greater Cleveland Auto Test. So let's see how road-wise you are. Here's our first question. True or false? The number of registered drivers in the United States exceeds the total combined population of Canada, France, and the United Kingdom. The answer's true. There are 146 million registered drivers in the United States. Now, if you got that one right, here's a follow-up question. How old is the largest single group of drivers in the United States? A, 20 to 24, B, 25 to 29, C, 30 to 34, or D, 34 to 39? The answer's A, 20 to 24.
Jeff, I've got a few questions now about women drivers.
Evidently, so does Joel.
I know. So here's my first question. What percentage of new cars bought last year are owned by women? A, 19%, B, 29%, C, 39%, or is it D, 49%? The answer is C. 39% of the new cars bought last year are owned by women, and the figure is going up. That's why more and more women have established good credit in their own names. Now, here's my follow-up question. True or false this time? When purchasing a car, women are more concerned than men about warranty, service, operating cost, ride, handling, and safety. The answer is true. So take that, you guys.
Us men are more concerned about women, Wilma.
I'll take the next question. This one's about the cost of operating a car. In a recent survey by a major car rental agency, how did Cleveland rank among 20 major cities in the cost of operating a typical new 1980 subcompact domestic car? A, among the 5 most expensive, B, among the 5 least expensive, or C, right in the middle? The answer's B, among the 5 least expensive. In fact, if you operated a 1980 subcompact in the city of Cleveland, your cost was 14.1 cents per mile lower than it would have been in Los Angeles. And that includes everything: fuel, oil, maintenance, repairs, insurance, loan interest, depreciation, the whole works.
I know how much it costs to drive out here in L.A. You Clevelanders have it made in the shade. The only way I drive out here is on a golf course.
It pays to be a good driver anywhere, right, Jeff?
Right, Otto. Shall we take a lesson from Gib Shanley and Don Webster?
Hey, Don, what's the matter?
Gibber, I've learned my lesson. I'm not driving with you anymore.
Oh, come on, Webby, get in. I'll show you how to pull out of a skid.
Oh, those jackrabbit starts can burn rubber and gasoline. That was a good lesson on how not to drive a car. But it does bring us on to our next question. How much farther can you travel on the same amount of gas if you use gradual starts instead of jackrabbit starts? Is it A, 10%, B, 25%, C, 50%, or D, 75%? The answer is C, 50%.
No more jackrabbit starts for me, Wilma. But I do have another question on fuel economy that's a little hairy. To save fuel, you should turn off your engine if you're going to idle for A, any time at all, B, more than 20 seconds, C, more than 1 minute, or D, more than 5 minutes. The answer's C, more than 1 minute. I thought starting the car again would use more gas, but it actually uses less fuel to restart than it does to let the engine idle.
When there's a lot of water on the road after a rainstorm, fast driving can be really dangerous. The car can hydroplane. When that happens, you should not touch the brakes or turn the wheel. Take your foot off the accelerator and let the car slow down by itself.
I'm an expert on rainstorms, Gibber. The best way to drive on a wet day is very softly and carry a big umbrella.
Now I've got an easy question for you. True or false this time? When you're on a summer trip, it pays to open your windows and turn off the air conditioner. Sounds easy, doesn't it? But if you said true, you're wrong. The answer is false. Wind resistance created by the open windows can use up more gas than it takes to power the air conditioner. But let's find out more about winds from Don Webster.
My gosh, that's enough of that. Gib, didn't you know that at 70 miles an hour, a car uses 70% of its available energy just to push the air out of the way?
I know that, Don. I just figure the faster I go, the harder I can push.
Shanley's always been a little pushy, combustible but lovable. Which brings us to our next question, Wilma. At what speed does your car's combustion engine operate the best? Is it A, 20 miles an hour, B, 40 miles an hour, or C, 60 miles an hour? The answer's B, 40 miles an hour.
Okay, Jeff, now how would you and our other test takers answer this question? What is the most fuel-efficient way to start your car? Should you A, let the engine warm up for a few minutes before driving, B, start immediately but take it easy for the first mile or so, C, start driving immediately in a normal fashion, or D, it doesn't make a nickel's worth of difference? The answer here is B. Start driving immediately, but take it easy for a mile or so. And it makes a lot more than a nickel's worth of difference.
I always take it easy when I start out. Then I slow down.
Aww.
You sure do, Otto. But now for those playing along with us, it's time to check your scores on the 10 questions about driving and driving technique. Now, if you had 7 correct answers, you're pretty good. If you got all 10 right, you're amazing.
Now let's go on to Jim Bunnigan out on the streets of Cleveland, where drivers can learn it all.
What do you think of Cleveland drivers?
Well, a lot better than the Florida drivers and 100% better than those in Paris.
The most courteous drivers in the world.
Pretty good drivers, I would say. Most of them.
We could all become better drivers with a little help, even Shanley and Webster. Why not learn all you can about good driving and driving technique?
And that means keeping both hands on the wheel, Otto.
Okay.
Well, we're going to have our final test section of our Greater Cleveland Auto Test following this message.
Wish I had a gas saver like his.
Maybe you can win one. So Ohio's so impressed with today's even bigger lineup of fuel-efficient American cars, we're having a brand new All-American Gas Saver Sweepstakes.
You mean I've got another chance?
Each week it's a new sweepstakes, a new chance to win an American Gas Saver. Just come to Ohio, pick up an entry form, and mail it in.
Well, we're going to enter every week for sure, aren't we?
Enter Ohio's All-American Gas Saver Sweepstakes now. This week you might win a Ford EXP.
This is Mike Pruitt's house. I'm really gonna surprise him. You see, Mike's one of those guys that's always trying to outdo you. The skinniest ties, the smallest calculators, the pedigree pet rock. Well, you see this blanket and hat? Got them at National City Bank. They're terrific, and you can really warm up to them. Mike doesn't know about them yet. Will he be surprised? Ta-da! Doug, my man. Real cute.
Only at National City Bank.
Well, folks, we've talked about the past, and we've talked about the present. That leaves only one way to go, the future.
What about the future, Otto?
I want to be a future co-anchor on the news.
I think we'd better stick to the future of cars, Otto. You could talk to our news director about a job.
So you talk about the future of cars. I'm going to go talk to the boss.
Okay. Folks, the first question in our final test section is this. Approximately how much will cars weigh by the year 2000? A, 2,000 to 2,500 pounds. B, 1,500 to 2,000 pounds. C, 1,000 to 1,500 pounds. Or D, 850 to 1,000 pounds. The answer is B, 1,500 to 2,000 pounds.
You know, Jeff